Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Hey, guess what?
You know,
Hangout is on.
not to be shy.
We're live.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Are we live on the Wes Smith Variety ShYo? And today, our awesome guest, Oliver. How do you want me to say it, Oliver? Oliver? Ollie Plé?
My name's Oliver, and my artist name is Ollie Plé.
That's what it is. Yeah, maybe from now on, especially if they're from Canada, I'll just have them introduce themselves. What do you think of that, Kelly?
Why you gotta single out Canada? You don't write on some of the U.S. ones.
Well, there hasn't been one yet that I was, because then it makes it sound like we just like hired you to be on the podcast, Ollie. So it's like
you guys actually know each other, right? You've met before. How did you meet?
Yeah, several times we've met. So hey, Ollie. So like usually in the beginning here, we give a couple shout outs or anything from anybody who's on here today. So we usually start with me, but how about if we start with you today, because you have a huge event coming up. So spill the beans that aren't already spilled. Go for it, man. What's coming up?
We've got Electric Love Music Festival coming up in about, pretty sure it's about 29 days away. So we're July 28th to 31st, and we're going on our third year at Cheam Fishing Village in Agassiz, beautiful British Columbia. And we're just raring up to go. We got a massive lineup this year, including the one and only Wes Smith.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I quite heard you. What was that again, Ollie?
Including the wonderful Wes Smith.
Hey, that's awesome, dude. And I thank you guys. Totally awesome. But yeah, I mean, dude, I'm so stoked. And the only factoid I'll throw out there, aside from just how awesome the space and all that is and the fun, is that you've been doing it 3 years. You've had me there 3 years. That's the kind of thing that's the kind of thing that just sort of happens and doesn't happen often, where you end up getting to play the first year of a festival as it's smaller and then grows almost double. And then this year, obviously, you guys have exploded this thing. So tell us about that, dude.
Yeah, so this year we've definitely taken 2, if not 3 steps forward. We've increased the size of the land itself. We've added a massive field. So we're hoping to definitely triple, if not quadruple, the numbers from year one, and definitely introduce some pretty large acts. We've got Warren G coming out. We've got Drum Sound and Bassline Smith. We've got Haywire. We've got Croatia Squad. We've got Planet of the Drums. We've got Autoerotic. So many names on top of that. Sticky Buds, who's a BC local. So we definitely hit the ground flying this year, and we're hoping to increase our numbers.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool, and I'm excited, and that's why I wanted you to talk a little. Let's talk about it some more, but I definitely wanted to hit it up first because it involves, obviously the massive effort from you guys. I'm super stoked and privileged to for it to be your third and becoming the third time. From our side, we've also got a DJ ShYo who had traveled around with me this year, on 7 or 8 shows we did for the Game On Tour related stuff, and she's awesome. So she'll be coming out, and then Ground Score, one of your Canada guys, also on the Juice label. So I'm really excited. It's the first time we've been given an opportunity to put something together where someone more than just myself is playing as a DJ. So with Michelle and everybody, I really appreciate all that support. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. The Juice Night Out Showcase should be a lot of fun this year. Taking place on the Friday night on one of the main stages, the Nest stage. So that should be something definitely to check out for sure.
Very excited. Real quick, and we'll come back to the festival because it's like that crazy. I've rearranged anyone who's here that's been at any one of the prior 29 or however many of these shows it's been, I've had the same background the entire time. I finally changed it. So, yeah. So, and some of the images are the same, but I do want to point out a couple things. So these three across the top are from a California, like my hashtag California spelled ORNYA, and then the Califunkia mixes of these. It's a series of 8 different tracks. There's 2 on each, so there's only 3 of them up here, but it's the same design with different coloring. And I wanted to kind of give a shout out now that they're starting to be released. I think the number 1s are out, so that's the number 1, and then the other number 1 is sitting over here somewhere. And then these are the number 2s, so those are coming out over the next 4 weeks. And the art was done. The art on these was done by Janelle Despot, and this is a very much her style, not just the shoes, but like the coloring and sort of the waviness of the lines. Very cool artist from here in San Diego, and that is, those are out. Go get them. That's awesome. All that stuff. There's also like a squad of free tracks that are out, new ones in the last bit. Some kind of hip hop, funk, kind of like Oliver's Area Loves. I know that. And they're just go to juicerecordings.com. You can navigate through there and grab the free stuff. It's pretty easy. And we'll be pumping out a lot more of them too. It's basically a lot of the edits and things that I've used over the last year or two that I never put out for free. So they're definitely like dance floor tested. They have not been all over the place, and you'll be able to scoop them up there. So check that out if you're listening. And the other thing about the art here, and I was going to tie this back to you, Ollie, is that, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about over the last, say, 2 years of traveling, meeting a lot of people, a few different countries, a lot of it in the U.S., but running into all these creative people, man, you know, and I've always wanted to be able to do something with them. And some of those people that I run into are artists. So that's why I started first off with San Diego doing, trying to do some original artwork for the covers for releases. And by original, I don't mean just like digital design and art. So she does this art, like she's an artist that does, like, you know, she draws and does it all in real color and ink and stuff, and then either scans it or photographs it, you know, and then maybe manipulate it from there. But working with a few of those kind of people. And so that's something I'm trying to support and promote, is like just really highlighting, you know, some of the great artists that I've met, because I find it really hard to be able to do that with just the music, you know, like combining it with the art. And so I know you guys in Canada, this is what I want to get back to. I know that you guys with ELF, Electric Love Festival, I know with Michelle and the whole group that produces it, it seems to be a big thing for y'all to make a very big point of having a Canadian or regional stage. Am I correct in that?
A stage at the festival?
Well, it's definitely got a lot of Canadian talent on it, which makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. One of our stages is the Wormhole, and that's down on the beach. It's basically the beach stage that's open during the day, and about 100% of that stage is regional talent. And then throughout the whole festival, we sprinkle in regional talent all over the place, including the Zenden and stages as well.
Yeah, like, and tell me like a few of them. I mean, I know, like, I don't know exactly where some of them are from, if they're regional or not, but I think Ski Tour, I had a great time listening to them last year. Who are some of the other ones that are regional?
Tour is they're definitely local. They're based up in Whistler, hence the name Ski Tour. We've also got Neighbor, who's really large in our really big name here in BC. He's from Vancouver. We've also got Sticky Buds, who is up in Kelowna, and a lot of smaller upcoming acts are also on the bill as well.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to point out, I think that's really cool, because it's not like that everywhere. And I should also point out that if you haven't heard of some of those artists that he just mentioned, they're by no means local, regional, in the sense that that's all they do. I mean, those names, some of them travel all over the world.
Yeah, they're all over for sure.
Yeah, but they are from there. And then there's, of course, some talent on there that's local that is, like you said, maybe up and coming or just getting even their first gig or opportunity, right? So I just think it's super cool because like we have a couple festivals here in San Diego, and I'm not kidding you, man. They'll have like, I think out of like 20 or 30 talent on the lineup, there'll be like 2 that are even from San Diego.
Oh wow, yeah, that percentage isn't very large.
No, it's not. Very small.
I would say that on our lineup, we probably have, I'd say 40 to 50% regional artists for sure.
Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah. And we,
I didn't know the percentage, but and I've been some other places where there's definitely a higher percentage mix of local talent. One of the ones I just did over there in Virginia, the Substance crew, this Flower of Life festival, it's packed with local regional, and they do an awesome job like that. And it really gives, in my opinion, it really gives the show a different vibe, because there are a lot of people that do come out to support the local talent, and then a lot of them know each other in kind of crossover. And so getting them out kind of makes the event feel a lot more like user friendly, if that's the right term.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The vibe that we strive for is it's one of a kind. The amount of smiles you see on site walking around is something that not all festivals bring on a weekly basis. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. So I wanted to obviously it's not the Electric Love Festival show, but but that's certainly an awesome thing coming up for all of us. So that's really cool. And I've had a lot of people ask me, who's the promoter, who does the booking, who does this and that. So, I give them all the wrong cell phone number, Ollie. So,
Perfect.
I give them all. I give them all the link to Lindsay's. I give them all the link to Lindsay's profile.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, do that. She runs relations, so that'd be a good place to start for sure.
There you go. Right. So, what else, like you, man, like you're DJing and all that, honestly, I know most of the ELF related stuff, around you, and the way I know you, of course. So, I'm interested, like, what is some more of the Ollie DJ, the name, the Ollie Ver?
The Ollie Ver. Yeah, well, I started DJing when I was about 18 years old. So I've been at it for, I won't tell you the exact number of years, but it's been a long time.
4 years.
So maybe 8-9 years ago, and I've done some pretty cool tracks with a bunch of local guys, basically. Recently I've started a side project with one of my good friends, I Know Karate, at the festival as well.
By the way, I checked out your SoundCloud, and absolutely, I think your tracks are great.
Cool, awesome. Well, thank you very much. So yeah, we started this side project where we wanted it to be kind of fun and light and funky, and we decided to go with the name Galactic Hobos. So yeah, so we've just been kind of having fun in the studio, making funky beats. It's kind of on a slower tempo. I guess it's kind of in that electronic glitch hop kind of bass heavy type of music. And
I'm really glad that you have as much trouble trying to define music as I do.
Like, who knows what it is these days, right? Like, it's hard to put a specific genre on your music, really. You just kind of write what you like, and you kind of go with the flow, right?
Call it bass.
Yeah, with any luck, we'll go more and more that route where it doesn't matter. With any luck, but
yeah, I think a lot of artists these days, they're kind of all over the map. You see it in their sets and in their in their production. they're never really playing the same thing. They drop a future house track, and then they're dropping some glitch hop bomb, and then they're playing whatever it is. They've got a dubstep trap that all of a sudden drops out of the middle of nowhere. And I think just that attention span on the dance floor, and when you're listening to your iPod or wherever you're listening to music, is just it's just changed over the last 10-20 years, where people are just open to more.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, what do you think that I mean, what do you think that's from? I mean, just attention span, or all the, I mean, to me it's like, it's really like, because it seemed like for a while, and honestly myself included, I would play not only my music that I produced, but I would play a lot of music maybe similar to what I produced, as kind of a set or something like that. And to me, I felt a little bit like I got away from being a DJ and was a bit more of a producer playing music, not just my music, but music like my music maybe. So I kind of reminded myself like, oh wait, like, okay, when I didn't, really make any music or music that I would have played in a set, I would just play all kinds of different stuff. And it seems like that's kind of, certainly for me, I have more fun doing it that way, as long as the people at the party are having fun, and that's still cool. I don't go off the deep end on some, an esoteric cosmos mission, but yeah, I mean, that's what it seems like for me. But
it takes
it's nice. I think it's nice for people to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think as long as you're reading the dance floor and you're not going too much off on a tangent, you can pique their interests. It's a kind of an ebb and flow on the dance floor, and it kind of seems to translate when people are listening to music wherever they are, whether it's on the bus or on their iPod or wherever it is. So
I also think people listen to a lot more music in maybe not the whole thing, right? Because they can just needle drop. Like you couldn't needle drop songs unless you were a DJ 10 years ago.
Pretty much.
Right, so you kind of had to listen to the song for the most part, at least as recent as a compact disc. I mean, you really couldn't effectively, put your finger down and scrub over the track, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Yeah, so now you can probably, because man, I gotta tell you, the last gig I prepped for, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something, and I was getting ready for it, and I was listening to, doing like the Beatport thing and the SoundCloud thing, and trying to go through all my favorite, link things. And I must have gone through, I was actually laughing counting it, because I've really come to like the Beatport Pro app, for just cruising fast through like all the stuff. Yeah. And man, I must have gone through 1,000. I think I clocked it at like 1,100 songs I had needle dropped by the end of that like digging session. And that just seems crazy to me. Like I don't think I would have ever, I would have listened to maybe 50 things or something, like pre sort of internet digital scrubbing ability technology. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of songs, man. That's for sure.
That's a lot. That's kind of excessive.
That'll give you a small headache.
I go through a lot.
Wow. You went through all those songs. Like 30 minutes?
He's
yeah,
like,
it was like 4 hours, man. I was like,
how many touches when you go in there and you drop, how many touches do you put in a song? 3? And you're like,
you talking on me?
Yeah.
So I just set the Beatport Pro app on autoplay, and I let it run through whatever search I've done, or if it's a predetermined chart search or whatever that they already have. So you can do it that way. So I mean, those clips are about a minute or something is maybe the clip length on Beatport. I'm not totally sure.
Yeah.
But you're asking me for some math, so I would tell you normally I would just let that thing kind of carousel, if you want to call it that, right? So it seems to take about 30 minutes to make it through like a top 100 chart, something like that. You can pretty easy do it while you're doing other stuff, and and just arrow key through things. But but I don't spend a whole lot of time like actually needle dropping through the song, which is maybe kind of sad because if the clip that's automatically chosen on Beatport doesn't kind of pique my interest,
Yeah.
you know, within the first little bit, or if it's just like, I don't know, some vocal that, you know, maybe it's not out of key, but just doesn't sound right to me,
Yeah.
then I just arrow key it on to the next one. So you can blow through some stuff pretty fast.
Yeah, I gotcha. How many did you end up with?
Like 20.
That's impressive. It's super impressive, I gotta say.
That's about right.
Did you use the Mystique code?
20 to 30. Yeah. I think I ended up buying like 35, but there was like some already in my cart, so I'm not sure which ones came from that session and something else. But I think one was like an album, so I'm gonna go with like 20.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I used them all. That was for Vegas. Yeah, I used them all. It was fun. It was cool. I was happy with my 1,000+ song dig.
It's fun, but man, after a while, you're just kind of like, oh, what do I do now?
Ollie, where do you you know, it's quite often similar, but where do you go? Where's your favorite spots to dig for music?
These days I've been trying to stay away from Beatport, you know, even though that's where we do a lot of our, you know, distribution. You know, I've been hitting up, you know, certain artists for tunes that are unreleased a lot of the time. Going on SoundCloud has been, you know, a great place to go for stuff that people haven't really heard. You know, when you're digging through the Beatport Top 100, it seems like every DJ or every, you know, artist that's playing in my kind of genre or my kind of funky, grimy kind of sets, you know, are playing those same tunes. So I've been trying to get I've been trying to, you know, find tunes elsewhere. You know, I've got a lot of friends overseas, out in Australia and New Zealand, that, you know, send me a lot of links. Like I think Bandcamp is one of them. A lot of kind of streaming sites where, you know, you follow them and you can download their tunes to try and keep it as fresh as you can in your sets.
Yeah, that's you know, it's interesting. I'm interested in how kind of the you know, there's always been free music out there, promos and whatever. So I'm curious. I think that's kind of coming back around because I mean, you know, in fact, you actually mentioned something I forgot to note in the beginning, but Electric Love is not only a festival, you've got other things going on with the brand, right? And the label is one of those, right?
Yeah, for sure. Electric Love Records is something we put together about 2 years ago, and 24 releases so far.
Nice.
We don't do a huge amount of releasing. It's typically, you know, once a month type thing. But we try and keep it fresh and local, and then we also bring in, you know, bigger acts when we can. I know we had
You bring in people like Wes Smith to do remixes.
a Wes Smith track. You know, it did really well. He, you know, it was in the charts. I think it got up. Can't remember exactly how far it got up in the breaks charts, but it was definitely a top 10 or top 5.
Yeah, it was in there. I was psyched. I liked that one. I liked that one quite a bit.
I thought it was really great. So, you know, we're not a label that's releasing 2 or 3 releases a week or a month. We're, you know, we try and keep it. You know, we're busy running the festival most of the year, so we try and release as much as we can. But it usually turns out to about once a month.
Well, and you do some other parties as well, obviously, because I played one of them. I think how's that going? Are you guys still doing the series, like the bringing the festival indoors? Like, explain that a little bit. Like, how's that coming?
So this year we've been bringing the festival indoors. So we're trying to bring that same festival experience, you know, into events in Vancouver, Kamloops, and kind of all around the region. And they've been going really well. You know, the one we had you out to, I think we had about 350 attendants. And then the one we did after, we brought Royal Blood out from Spain. with Hershey from Vancouver, who runs Big Fish Recordings. I think we had just over 500 people at it, so it was a huge event, and it was a huge success.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. What? So y'all have done like 2 or 3 of those kind of things.
Yeah, I think I think we've done about 3 of them, and you know, we're looking to do the same thing next year in the down season. You know, here in BC, we're sunshine for 3 months, and then for 9 months, we're pretty much getting rained on every day. So you know,
yeah, that was the next question was why, aside from just throwing a party.
Yeah, so we have to do things indoors here in Vancouver and around the region. So you know, it's a good way to get that festival environment indoors instead of having that, you know, that stale club environment where.
Would you say that? Yeah, would you say that the festival, you know, I guess environment is the majority of people's, you know, sort of music, you know, during the year? Like, is that the big thing in Canada? It just seems like there's a lot of really great festivals up there.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one part of it. But you know, festivals are, you know, it's not only. I guess it's a tough question because there's so many different festivals out here. You know, we just had the Vancouver Jazz Festival happen last weekend. So you know, a lot of bands and a lot of you know, that style of music. But if you're looking at, you know, the festivals like Shambhala and Bass Coast, and you know, a lot of what Electric Love brings in, you know, you get a small part of that listening to that music throughout the year. But then again, you know, there's a huge rock scene in Vancouver. There's a huge hip hop scene in Vancouver. So you know, the broad span of music is quite large out here.
Yeah, what happened to that? What happened to that? What do you call it? Is it Pember? I don't know what I'm talking about. The Pemberton, what, or Pemby, something like that.
Music festival, yeah. They went bankrupt this year after announcing their lineup, and I believe the festival is going to cost $22 million to put on, and they yeah, $22 million. And
what is that, like, chat 20,000, 30,000 person, more bigger? What is that normally?
Yeah, that's about 35,000 a day, and they're a 4-day festival. So they would run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night.
Got it.
Yeah, so they had the capacity of 35,000 a day, and they also had camping next door as well. So all that integrated, they're probably looking at about 120 to 140,000 people throughout the weekend. Wow.
So that's like, I mean, I guess it's not quite as big as EDC Vegas, but it's dang close. But
yeah, it's a huge festival. You know, they brought in acts like Snoop Dogg and you know, Missy Elliott to Flux Pavilion. You know, they had a lot of different styles of music at that festival. You know, so, you know, also bringing in like 9 Inch Nails and a lot of rock stuff as well. So it's definitely sad to see them go, just because they were one of our larger festivals close to Vancouver, and yeah, we'll see what happens over the next few years on how that affects the economy and other festivals around.
Yeah, so then it looked like a lot of people. I saw you guys running. You guys were running some. It was kind of nice of you guys to run some giveaways, literally, I think, for people, and even some discounts for people that might have bought tickets and aren't getting refunds, at least at this point, or something like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. We're doing at the front gate. We're giving Pemberton Festival pass holders $50 off.
Yeah.
Front gate. We also ran a giveaway, a 10 pass giveaway that included Pemberton pass holders. It was basically a point system. So if you shared our post, you got a 1 entry. If you got, you know, there was about 8 different things that you could do for the giveaway. It was over a week and a half, and Pemberton Pass holders got 5 entries if they had a Pemberton Pass. So
that's nice. It's kind of like it's rigged.
well, not really. You were able to get 1 entry every day if you shared the post, or if you went and reviewed us on Google, or if you went and posted on Twitter about us, or if you tagged us on a Facebook post. You were able to do that every day. But if you had a Pemberton Pass, you would get 5 entries, and that was just a one-time thing.
Oh, got it. Okay, that makes sense.
But they had a small advantage because they had the pass. So we wanted to make sure that they got to the ground running.
Yeah, man. So, hey, so when I came there, I had been to Vancouver before. When I not for the festival, when I came for the bringing the festival indoors party, and what was that neighborhood I ended up staying in? And the disclaimer is that it was not you guys doing. Like, it was my own choice. So, what was that neighborhood again? Do you remember?
Well, I think you stayed on Hastings Street, and
yeah.
It was, it's kind of the, they call it kind of the downtown east side, where a lot of the kind of the homeless population lives. A lot of the kind of the skeety area of Vancouver.
There were more homeless persons there than I think I've seen in my entire life, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty much where all the homeless people go. There's a lot of there's a lot of food banks in that area. There's a lot of help for them. So that's kind of where they migrate.
So I think if, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not starting off with the needy portion of Vancouver for any reason other than the fact that I chose to stay there myself. But people, I know some people that are going to come up there from Seattle for the festival, and they probably cruise through Vancouver, see some cool stuff. So kind of where I was headed with all this was for you to share some of the more interesting things that they might, make a week of or something, if they can get that kind of time to cruise up and patronize the local economy of Vancouver and on out to the fishing village that way. But yeah, I just kind of started with my choice area there that I stayed in. And then it reminded me, like, wasn't one of the issues there, like, there used to be some sort of maybe a medical center or rehab center or something, and then they took it away, and now there's a park that's like just full of all the same people?
I don't know that story specifically, but that very well could have happened. I'm not 100% sure why they're down there, but there's definitely a lot of things in our economy that's pushing them in that direction.
Well,
if you're looking for things to do in Vancouver, if you're from out of town, there's plenty of things to do. Your typical tourist attractions like the Capilano Suspension Bridge, or going to check out some of the beaches we have here down in Kitsilano, or even if you want to go check out some of our more festival type beaches like Wreck Beach, where nudity is allowed, and a lot of drum circles happen and that type of stuff.
Oh, cool.
There's definitely some cool things to see in Vancouver, that's for sure.
I think our crew is going to be there in Vancouver one night. What would you do if you have one night? It's probably eat somewhere. Where would you go eat?
Oh man, there's so many restaurants in Vancouver. That's a tough one to say. I guess it depends what you want to eat. Like, do you want to eat some high end, or do you want to go somewhere that's super cool and kind of grungy, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, what would be, like, give me a couple of restaurants that would be that would be like, you know, kind of in the middle, but maybe would highlight something very Vancouver or Canadian-ish? Other
Well,
than food.
you're putting me on the spot here, but off the top of my head, there's one that comes to mind. It's called. I go there quite often with some of my friends. It's in a place called Blood Alley, and it's kind of just down the way from where you were staying, but more in like the Gastown area. You were kind of up from Railtown, and it's called Gringos, and it's kind of like a taco shop basically, and it's right in the alley, super fun. You know, you get a lot of backpackers and people that just want to let loose there. If you're looking for something a little bit more like a little more high end, then you just type in high end restaurants in Vancouver.
That's what we're all about, dude. We're all about this bus. You see this bus, right? Like, we're all about this bus is rolling in, and we're bringing our own taco shop so we can find a high-end restaurant.
Perfect. Well, the taco shops here in Vancouver have absolutely exploded over the last 3 years. There's pretty much the same amount of taco shops as there is Starbucks. So.
Wow, dude. How about 7-Elevens? I mean, can we throw that in the mix? Because there's usually quite a few of those around.
Pretty much. Like, there's probably more taco shops than 7-Eleven.
Yes. Are the food cart? I don't remember seeing a lot of food trucks there when I was there. Is there a lot of food trucks there?
Yeah, there's quite a few food trucks. I guess you just have to find them. They don't really congregate anywhere like some places in other cities. Some places you go to, like Portland, let's say, like they got food truck lanes all over the place. In Vancouver, they're kind of spread out. They hang out during the day outside of big towers or where people are working. They're open till 4 or 5 o'clock at night, and then they pack up their stuff, and then the restaurants kind of take over at nighttime.
All right, so there's not a. I also don't recall like. When I drove up there, you remember last year, or you may recall, I actually drove up there all the way from San Diego and kind of toured the country on the way up. And I stopped at an awful lot of microbreweries on the way. I didn't really look for a bunch in Canada, but I assume they're there. How's the beer scene? Is there a beer scene like kind of thing there?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of places that are brewing beer up here. I don't know what exactly what you would say a microbrewery is, but I guess it's just something that's smaller. So there's, right?
Yeah, I think it's basically, I mean, I don't know either totally. I mean, I think there's a whole range of brew sizes, but I think it's kind of like ones that might have, 2 or 3 brews that they sell, versus an entire acquired portfolio of beers from everywhere in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely a handful of them out here. I think Red Truck Brewery's has set up shop down on just off Main Street. I checked that out a few weeks ago. It's pretty great place to hang out. They've got an assortment of 1920s delivery trucks, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
Their brewery, they've got old 1920s truck hanging from the ceiling.
Red Truck Brewery.
Red Truck Brewery, yeah, check that out when you're up here. It's pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to do that. And then, so what about on the road to? And I always think it's longer than it is, but how long does it take to get from Vancouver? Well, I guess you have to pick a spot in Vancouver, but what's kind of, let's say Vancouver Airport then, from there to the festival? How long does that take?
From Vancouver YVR Airport, it's probably. I guess it depends on traffic and what time you're leaving during the day, but it's anywhere from an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 45 minutes to the festival site.
Okay, yeah. For whatever reason, I always in my mind, I'm telling myself it's like 3 hours, but I think it's because 1 year I got confused with it possibly being up in another city, and that was in fact like 3 hours away. Well, there was going to be a different location at one time. Do you remember what that was?
So we were last year. We had planned to do it up in Kamloops.
That's
So
right.
Kamloops to Vancouver is definitely 3 hours away. But the festival's happening in Agassiz, BC, and that's it's about an hour and 15 to an hour and 45, depending on traffic and if you're in rush hour or whatnot.
Yeah, right. So, hey man, so how did you I got all these questions around like you and festival and label and all that stuff. Like what was kind of the path to get there? Because I'm sure that that's interesting to a few people that will listen to this. It's kind of like you mentioned your DJing and whatnot, but obviously you don't go from DJing to being in a position of management and or influence with something the size of everything y'all have going on. So what's that kind of like?
Yeah, so I guess I've been DJing in the city for however many years, so you start to build contacts and everyone that you're dealing with, from outdoor events to festivals, and I teamed up with Michelle and Dennis and a few others, and at the time I was putting on a Bass Fest, and that went on for about 3 years, and they wanted to bring me on board for Electric Love, or we didn't even know it was Electric Love then. We just knew that we wanted to put on a festival, and
well, what was the I had forgotten, you told me before, but I had forgotten about the step before. What was the details on the bass part of the festival that you were doing before that? What was that all about?
Yeah, so that was it was a small festival that I started with my friend Trey, and first year we had we promoted the I guess it wasn't a festival the first year, it was more of an outdoor event, camping party. We had 3 weeks to pull it off. We promoted it, and we got 450 people up to Squamish, BC.
Okay.
So after that, it turned, went a little bigger. We brought out some acts like JFB, Matt the Alien, Dunks of the Funk Hunters. We brought out Check, an old school breaks, local here in Vancouver.
Okay.
And it just it grew from there. On year 3, we brought out some acts. Our 2 main headliners were Kill Paris and Crisley. With some other regional acts, Long Walk Short Talk, who's going to be at Electric Love this year, with Pigeonhole from Victoria, and a bunch of other regional acts. Just got to the point with Bass Fest that it was, in the festival world, it's hard to turn a profit. So trying to find investors that are
ask Pemby about that.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I had the opportunity to, to help out with Electric Love, and just being one of the founders from when it started. I was able to jump into more of a main role with them as director of operations, and it was a nicer fit with me, and I've just been rolling ever since.
Well, I think it's pretty cool. Part of the reason I asked is because I'll get questions from people about how do you make money, or have a job in the sense of a job or whatever, but essentially how do you make income where you may not need a second job, or you might have a part-time second job, but essentially you're able to make enough money where you're not working a complete full-time 40, 50, 60 hour career job, and then being able to do what bare bit you can related to the music or entertainment industry and business. So I know, there's always people that are interested in that, especially younger people just getting into things. They want to do something to be part of it. And clearly you're in a position or in a role that is, doing that type of thing, where you're involved with the business or the industry. And you're also DJing and doing those things too. But it's kind of multiple multiple ways to be involved with the business, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of things that I take on, and I love doing them all. And stepping on my role with Electric Love has definitely been a great experience. But there's a lot of different facets to life, and you try and juggle them all, really.
How many, what's an example, of like, what'd you say, Kelly? Sorry, what'd you say?
I said amen.
Yeah, for sure. Kelly's job is even harder because he's juggling them from a boat. Yes, she's the boat agent. So how many people, like, and I mean, just in general, let's say volunteers, paid, whatever, like end up working at something like, that, let's call it a mid-sized festival. What's your, you've done a couple different festivals. What's that look like?
Yeah, so our team at Electric Love is about 30 people.
Okay.
And that's just the core group. So that's from, front gate manager to production manager, artist relations, vendor coordinator, and so on. And then on top of that, we've got our volunteer team, which is run by our volunteer coordinator. And that team is about, this year we're looking at about 150 volunteers to make the festival run for 2 days. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of coordinating to put on an event, a mid-sized festival for sure.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you've got 200 artists that are coming out, between the bands and the hip hop and the electronic, portion of the festival, with all of their guests and all that type of stuff. So it's a hefty team for sure.
Yeah, wow, man. I mean, I've never worked in coordinating, something with that many people involved. Maybe up to 25 or so in total. Like, cause we've done a couple of these day parties here, the Juice Day Out parties here in San Diego this year, and the idea there was to kind of keep it local and over on the beach, because there's not a lot of that over here. And ironically, considering it's San Diego, but there's a good day party scene, but not so much on the beach side. So anyway, we started doing it. They've been good. About 100 people come out. But yeah, like our crew for that, we end up with, by the time you just do a fairly simple, it's a single sound stage setup. So it's like you end up with, two people on the sound, 2 or 3 people on sound, a door person or 2 to cover the day, myself, Colin, the few people that help set up some decorations, a couple dancers that come and are part of the crew, and then and then maybe a couple people doing something with food. You're at like 10, So it's like 10%, it's like, it's kind of the ratio there of people that it takes to to get just a small, a day party to work, basically.
Yeah, but events are they're a beast, right? Whether it's a festival or just an event like our bringing the festival indoors. We've got our we've probably got 40 people, running and helping with those events throughout. And that's not including all the merch vendors that we have on site, and all of that on top of it. So. We've got a we've got a dance coordinator as well, that we work with for our events and festival, and that team alone, I believe, is 25. So throughout the festival, there's 25 dancers that go back and forth between all the stages that happen at nighttime,
Right.
to make sure that the crowd is keeping up, and we're adding different elements to every stage, not just the music.
Yeah, they were really good. I assume it's maybe some of the same people or whatever that you had for the festival indoors. You had a couple of them running around there. I always think that's a fun addition, especially like as they start out, as they're always coming out with something, whether it's like, you know, LED shoes or these LED, like, you know, whip looking kind of things, you know, like those are super sweet. I think the first time I saw that was up there actually at Electric Love last year, maybe the year before. Yeah, those are really cool, the stuff they do with those. And of course, like the hooping and whatnot. But it's like now, like hooping's like old school now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like an LED hoop is like super old school now. It's still talented and cool, but I kind of feel for like the hoopers sometimes because I'm like, damn, it probably took like, I don't know, at least a solid 6 months. I could be totally wrong. It might take years. I don't know, to get really, really good at that. You know, but you know, in any case, it takes some amount of time to learn it, and then it's like, oh wait, it's kind of like the MP3 coming out when you were playing on CD or vinyl before that. It's like, nope, we're gonna use this now.
Yeah, they've got this. They've got some new toys this year for sure. Our dance coordinator has he's purchased a staff, and it's a LED staff, so it's probably taller than him. It's about, you know, 6-7 feet tall, and basically
wow.
you're spinning the staff around your head, so it's like, you know, probably, you know, that thick, and it's about 7 feet long, and the thing just lights up like an LED. It's got a 220 different variations of light that runs through it. And
of course it. Kelly, can you find what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure.
Can you Agent 137 that?
All right. Yep.
I mean, I see a bunch of LEDs. I was just trying to picture it because I haven't seen one yet. But that looks in. So it ends up being like it's like a double-ended lightsaber kind of thing or something.
Yeah,
almost.
that's what it looks like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's also got a lightsaber that he's introducing at Electric Love as well, which should be pretty interesting, but not double-ended, that's for sure.
What do they call? So that thing I was talking about before, the light rope thing. Do you know what they call that? I want to know.
It's a whip.
It's a whip.
The whip.
Yeah, it's a whip.
Whip.
Yeah, that's the staff. Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, check that thing out, man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And far less dangerous than a staff with 2 burning ends on it.
That's true.
Yeah, so they've got like Sound Movement is you know, throw a shout out to them. He started a dance company here, and he takes care of all our dancers. So they've got you know, they've got tons of toys that they're going to be bringing out to the festival, and it should be a pretty cool experience for sure.
See, I'm partly digging for some new jams to bring with me to Burning Man this year because lighting is a necessity out there, and I got the standard LED 50 rope, you know, all-weather rope thing pretty dialed in.
Yeah.
And that's definitely fun, but you know, to just attach to your devices like your bike or your person or weave into your clothing or whatever with, you know, a relatively low or small size battery pack to run it is pretty good. But some of these other things are definitely cool. And then, you know, the other one that's like trippy is you may know the name of it, but like these stick figures, man. Have you seen those things like the last year really pop up?
No, not really, no.
I saw him at Burning Man, I think last year was the first time. Kelly, you know what I'm talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
See if you can find one of those and show him what I'm talking about.
I think it's something like this. Like it's a rope plate thing, but it's got a remote control to it. Okay, stick figures, got it.
But they're like yeah, if you like Google like LED stick figure for lack of a better, you know, description, there's a couple pictures of them like hanging out on rocks and stuff. So Ollie, like, yeah, you'll see in a second when you see the picture, but yeah, these are super cool. Like if you see them walking around, especially out in like on the playa, you know, Black Rock City, Burning Man, because it's so dark. It's so dark. There's nothing else, and you just see this like super thin stick figure, so you can't see, you know, you can't see the person at all. Like the rest of the black like costume or whatever they're wearing, you know, you can't see any of it.
Like that.
Right. So you attach this to your body, and from far away,
it's like an L-wire of some sort.
It's a suit, and they're like a suit. So they're either someone's selling them as suits, which I'm guessing is the case, Like it's a black onesie basically with this.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Those
Right?
are awesome. I think I could get one of those.
Right?
So Ollie, basically what I'm saying is like, I don't know, maybe I'll start putting a black onesie stick figure suit in my rider.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
But I mean, if you think about cool things to put in a rider, like, which I have absolutely nothing in mind, but if you think about cool things to put in a rider, I think I'd pick something like that, you know?
Yeah, I think you should, Wes. That would be a pretty cool toy to walk around the festival. I definitely want to see you in it.
And maybe also in the rider require that like the production manager wears one.
Yeah, gotta get somebody else in that.
You don't want to be the only, you don't want to be the only dude hanging out in a black onesie stick figure outfit.
Why not?
I don't know. It just seems like it'd be more fun with two.
That's true. I don't disagree.
You get a lot of attention, I'm sure.
I'm gonna try to dig it up. There's definitely time between now and the festival there, Electric Love. So I'm pretty psyched for this now because we will be there a few days, and when it's not business and breaking it down on the decks, it's we gotta have a little fun out there, man.
Yeah, for sure. Festivals are all about having fun, so you gotta.
I mean, it's all fun, but I don't know. Maybe I could DJ in this stick figure suit.
I think you should do it. I think you should find one.
Maybe that'll be our thing, Ollie. Maybe
fashion one.
Maybe that'll be our thing, Ollie. We'll
you Jenny ground score.
Yeah.
Bust it out in the stick figure costume.
All three of us rocking the stick figure outfit. That could
definitely night out. That's for sure.
All right, now I got things going on. All right, I'll have to go find a DIY project and then see if someone actually makes them. Agent 137 mission.
I'm not making you one.
Oh, not to make it. Find it. I know you're not making me one. You'll be
Get me out my sewing machine. No, okay, I'll find it.
Yeah, you'll be making all your own Burning Man shit. No. Disclaimer. I don't ask Agent 137 to make stuff. Like all the stuff you see me make, like the jellyfish and all those things. Like I make all those things.
Yeah, he's got it rough. You got to make all of it. I would consider one for Burning Man. How about that? If you make one, if you find one, I'll find one and we can stick figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Burning Man, Ollie, you ever been to Burning Man? Or you want to go?
No, I haven't, but I've heard so many good things about it for sure.
You have interest, you and Lindsay, or yeah, I mean, have y'all ever considered trying to make it happen, or
yep, you should do
what?
What
holds you back?
Burning Man's at the end of the summer, so it's definitely an open date for me. Typically after Electric Love, I hibernate for.
People, no.
All the interactions for the year, and then the festival. It definitely it's tough on your body and your mind. So
I feel that when you have something like that, it's always good to kind of give yourself like a little bit of a period of recovery, and then plan something ahead of time.
Yeah.
That you can go to look forward to, because it's like anything huge that you do, like it's a letdown afterwards,
Yeah, for sure. Not so much of a letdown. I almost enjoy getting home and just
You miss it, and you're like, oh, I don't have anything to do to plan it.
Check this thing.
Burning Man has definitely been on my list for sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that we kind of strive to be like, on site with leaving no trace, and that whole aspect of the festival.
Yeah.
So it would definitely be cool to come check it out for sure.
Yeah, I think it would help just to go in general, but it's really definitely an experience. And Wes is showing you where he's going to be.
Yeah, can you see that, Ollie? Can you see this?
Plane?
Yeah, he's on a plane.
Yeah, this camp, it's an art project as well as a camp. It's all kind of combined into one. But I'm going to help these guys build this thing. So I'm going to be out there for 3 weeks before the burn this year.
Oh, wow.
3.5 weeks maybe. So I actually considered going straight from Electric Love down because, you know, it's if I drive that trip, obviously this is on the way back. And so I got to be out there like the weekend following Electric Love. I got to be out there to help start working on this thing. So, yeah, these dudes, they came, you know, I knew them through the Camp Charlie, who I camp with out at Burning Man during the normal week. I met them through that because one of the dudes started built the art car that was the beginning of Camp Charlie. I don't know a lot of the rest of the details, but I know like it was his vision to build the Camp Charlie car that looks like a big pink unicorn. You ever seen that thing, Ollie?
Yeah, I think I've seen some pictures of it for sure.
Yeah, so it just, you know, it's like a big fruit truck that's been turned into a big pink unicorn that spits fire, which is crazy. Just kind of describing it, but yeah. So that's anyway. That plane thing is really cool. Like well, for me anyway. Like because I've been to Burning Man now 3 times, which is not like a lot of times compared to like many people have been like Kelly knows. Like many people, it's like once you start going, you're not allowed to stop, right? Like 20 times and shit. But
30 years.
So yeah, I was trying to find you know, some interesting reasons to each year. It's like different, right? So it can always be a different experience. So anyway, this happened to rear its head. The playa provides, as they say, huh, Kelly?
That is correct.
Well, it seems
you're going, aren't you?
Yes, I'm at 7:30 in Esplanade.
Who are you with this year? Who are you going to camp with?
It is the Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates. How'd you meet these people?
Ice Pirates, yes, and Icarus, the art car Icarus.
Oh, that thing's cool.
Yeah, no. Actually, the way that I haven't actually announced this yet. Other people I've been talking to about doing camping. So I guess it's the official announcement of who I'm camping with. Because I've paid dues, but I put something out on Facebook and said I was looking for a camp and, you know, something a little bit low key, and I ended up not even close on Esplanade. Our good friend Jarl, the Ninja Midgets that are no longer the Ninja Midgets. Yeah.
Look at this thing, Ollie. This is the art car that's part of the camp she's gonna be with.
Holy. That looks like something from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Dude, it goes up and down with hydraulics, and you can see, you know, these speakers in here. You can see there's a huge sound system on it. It's crazy, man.
So do people just follow that thing? Like the dancer just follows it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
People follow all the things.
Speaking of which, here's a picture with Icarus.
Oh my God, look at
that.
There's a unicorn. Are you playing right now? No, I'm just kidding.
That's Charlie in the back, Ollie.
You know, there's a unicorn.
Oh my God, yeah, I've seen pictures of that for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And then this is like a little more detailed picture of Icarus here. You can see some shenanigans going on up there. But you can see the speakers that are stacked in this thing. Look at that. See all those 18s, man?
Holy. Wow.
Horns up here all built into it. It's so crazy, dude.
How fast do these cars go? And how, like, are they just like at a snail speed? So when you're dancing, you can keep up? Or?
Yeah, it's a challenge. So did you play when it was moving, Charlie?
I did, but yeah. So some of some of them stop. I think now some of them. I don't think they're required to, but definitely some of them stop to allow people to board them, just to be safe. You know, because you can do people. You know, people under party conditions can do some really dumb things, right?
I drove Charlie a couple nights. So they taught me how to drive this huge truck, and you can only go 5. So you can go under 5, but you can't go over 5, or else I don't know what happens to you. You go to like Burning Man jail or something like that. But
that must be fun though, actually.
It's really, but I DJ'd on it too, and I remember like falling over the whole entire time. It's like, so I did hit the sync button.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even care. I'm gonna hit the sync button.
I'm covering the list of what we deem to be acceptable uses of sync and quantize on CDJs.
I don't give a
That is definitely one in the top 5 allowable situations.
When you're falling over, it is not because you're drunk, because you're
before you fall into a kook. That is an acceptable reason to use sync and or quantize in tandem.
How do they power these things if they're moving?
That's on a truck. Like the Charlie was on a truck. I don't know how Icarus.
A lot of diesel, like, you know, agriculture trucks are like the base for them. Some of the smaller ones will be like an F-150 or, you know, an F-350 or something like that, like Ford.
It was really hard to drive too. Like it was stick shift, but once you get into second, what is it? A dual shift? Like what was it? Dual shift or something? So it's a huge challenge to drive a stick shift in a truck like this and not, you know, make everyone fall over at the same time. So it's like, do you ever see Party Monster where the drag queen is using the, you know, it has the semi-trailer truck and it's like,
yeah,
that's exactly how I felt.
They're basically not meant to be art cars, but they are. So, yeah, dude. So then that Icarus one is like a modified lift truck. It's got like those scissor lift, like hydraulic jacks. People get really creative. So yeah, but anyway, I thought I'd ask you, but yeah, if you ever get to seriously thinking about trying to do that, you know, I'm sure you know some people from your area that are out there too, but definitely remember to you know, hit myself or Kelly up, and never hurts to ask more questions before you go out there your first time, and you know, just make it a fun experience, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's on the bucket list, so I'm sure one of these years I'll definitely be heading out, and I'll be hitting you up for sure.
Yeah, good deal. So hey, you said that the grounds out there, going outside the city, out to the old Festier, Ollie. What is that? It's an Indian. What is that place? It's like it's called a Chiam fishing village or something like that.
It's a Chiam fishing village. Throughout the year, it's typically closed just due to rain but during the summer they open it up as a campground. So when they're not putting on festivals like you know, Burn in the Forest, which is you know, semi-tied to Burning Man, they have the same values and, you know, mimic the same type of ideals, like you know, art cars and whatnot. Electric Love and you know, another event, I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. You know, they're there. They've got RV stalls and camping spots and whatnot on the land.
Yeah, man. Well, I can't wait, dude. I knew after today I was gonna be all like, I was already excited, but like, you know how it is, like when you know you're gonna be part of a show and you can't really say anything until they say things, and then it's like you're waiting, you know, like for the promoter and organizer to do all of the promotion the way they want to do it, you know. So and you guys have been doing an awesome job, by the way, too, man. You guys got all your things going on. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of it, dude. Do you have to do that? Oh, yeah. Do you ever see all that stuff too, dude?
Instagram, Twitter, and all that.
Yeah. Are you a social media guy as well? Do you oversee that stuff because it's rock?
Yeah.
Pretty organized.
Sure. I oversee our PR and social media managers, so we're in communication every day about you know, different things we're trying to get the word out for.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, we're trying to pump out things every day, and you know, keep things interesting. You know, we've been putting out some polls on you know, who's your favorite artist, and you know, I think today something went out about you know, who's your favorite, you know, funk artists, and you know, we've got a couple of our headliners on there, so we've been getting some votes on that, and yeah, we're trucking along for sure.
What's going on here in your before we wrap this thing up? Now I'm looking at all your what's going on your desk over there. Are those like tickets I'm looking at the your phone. Is that?
Yeah. So this is our Electric Love
cool.
envelope. So
Yep.
everyone who purchases a pass. So these are our festival passes.
Mm-hmm.
So this goes into the envelope with a. I'll pick this up off the ground. Electric Love tattoo.
Oh, I want one.
A big tattoo, and then in the envelope as well, you get 2 sunflower seeds that you're able to plant throughout the year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so everyone gets that, whether they're purchasing it off, one of our street team sellers, or if they go into a store, everyone gets a small little package for for their purchase, and it kind of ties in. Oh, there you go.
I had to go find the old school shirt.
Oh yeah, that's a relic.
Yeah, dude, I think that's from year 1.
It's got to be from year 1. Yeah, for sure. It's got the border around the Electric Love heart.
Yeah, it was awesome. Haha. Sweet.
Nice. It's in pretty good condition, Wes. You
Yeah.
do it a little bit more often.
He
Wear
wears
it more often, dude. I've worn it a good bit, man. Like you just can't see the wrinkles in the sort of I don't know, from washing it what's going on the sides. But I have you can't see it, but where I'm like pointing the other direction in front of me, there's like I have these 2 like wardrobe sort of like clothing rack kind of things, and I have all the shirts like from that I've either bought or been given from shows I've played. I don't know. There's probably 30 over there or something I'm looking at. But and then like all the juice merch stuff or some of that on the other side. But anyway, yeah, it's cool, man. Like I keep all these things, man. Even if I don't still wear them a lot, like I've got a pretty decent collection over there. It's always really fun to go back, whether I do the show or not, and just kind of like when you see the promo and all that kind of stuff, and like. I don't know, just a little nostalgia, I don't keep a whole lot of stuff, but the shirts are pretty fun to keep.
Nice.
It used to be flyers, but there's no flyers really anymore. So
yeah, we try and keep away from the waste of flyers. Seems like people just look at them and throw them away, which and they typically don't throw them in the right areas. So
True.
There's so many other ways to promote. This year we're thinking of bringing out a tank with the full lineup on the back of it.
A tank?
Oh, like a tank top. I thought we were talking about Burning Man. I thought you meant like
I did too. I was like, a tank?
We're not bringing out a tank itself.
We're gonna shoot a flag out of the cannon, and it's gonna have the lineups on it. Like that's what I'm thinking.
Things,
No, it'll be.
Pick up your game.
It'll be.
Can we?
Now
my creativity's running awry. Can we? If I wear the black onesie, you think you can get the crew to bring like one of those human spring cannons, like, and shoot me onto the stage?
Oh wow, that'd be pretty cool. Let's talk about that after.
All right. Maybe year 5 or something. We have to work on that one. It might take a little bit of training on my part to not kill myself.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. It's been fun hanging out and chatting with you, dude. It's good. I saw Lindsay when I was in Seattle. I'm sure she told you, like, she came out and supported there. That was fun.
Oh yeah,
and,
I heard all about it.
But now I see you once a year, man.
Yeah.
So
Well,
hey,
we'll have to bring
twice, I guess.
We'll have to bring you up for another event and make sure it's twice a year every year.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, man. Absolutely, it's always fun. What anything else you got? Anything else you got to share before we bounce out of here? Any shout outs? Any people? Where can people find your DJ stuff? You got mixes online, things like that. Where can they find that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we've got this. I've got a new track coming out, or my first release as Galactic Hobos with Royal Blood from Spain and
Awesome.
MC Crow from Vancouver here. It's coming out on Electric Love Records on July 10th. So definitely look out for that. It's a huge funky bomb. We'll be doing you know, some huge press for that.
Awesome.
And you know, other than
they can find your SoundCloud. What's the best way to get like direct shot to your music for them to go check you out?
yeah, for sure. So it's SoundCloud .com/Ollie Plé or SoundCloud.com/GalacticHobos.
And Ollie Plé is OLLIEPLE or I?
PLE.
I.
PLE. Yeah. OLLIEPLE. It's been tongue twisted.
And Electric Love for all their releases and stuff. What's the best spot for people to go to check out Electric Love?
Yeah, so you know, on our website most likely is probably the best place for all information, and that's www.electriclovemusicfestival.com.
And that'll all be in the comments too.
Perfect.
Sweet. Kelly, where can everybody find you? Just Google Agent 137, done, right?
Yep.
Sweet. Hey, if you're interested in Juice stuff, juicerecordings.com. That's the jump off. And more shenanigans from me, it's wessmithyo.com. That's the jump off. Awesome, everybody. Ollie, man, thanks a lot. I'm really looking forward to heading up there. Whatever method, plane, train, automobile, subterranean, worm, however I get there this time. We'll try to have some promotional shenanigans on the way. And Jenny, I know, is as well, DJ ShYo, and of course, Crown Score. He actually just hit me up yesterday to remind me his message. 30 days!
He's excited!
Yes, well, yeah, I look forward to
you. So I'm very excited that, again, to get to do that session kind of thing, and also to have, you know, myself and ShYo and the up-and-coming Canada local guy there. That's really cool. Again. All right, man?
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you the final week of July.
29 days.
You got it, buddy. Later.
Peace. Stay classy, yo.